Okay, okay, lovely people. So, sprinkler system, Matt. This is Matt. Okay, guys, and responding to Doss here. Doss, regular subscriber to the channel. Been around for years. Getting intelligent by the minute. By the minute, Doss is getting intelligent. I mean, he woke up last night with a 3,000 IQ. Went to bed last night with 3,000 IQ. Woke up with a 4,000 IQ. He's just like hitting off the charts there. Well, all of you guys are on the YouTube on this channel. You guys go to bed and you wake up smarter, or you like me, you go to bed and I just wake up dumber. So, or should I say, I'm trying to make a fun word of dumber, right? More stupid, more stupidest. I'm the stupidest. How about that? All right. So Matt is responding to Doss up here, and shouldn't someone be held responsible for destroying that black box evidence, as that's what we're calling it now, black box evidence? Because it is what it is, exactly that in a version of what happened with the fire system. Now we know that NIST, which I video before this kept saying NTSB and couldn't get myself together until near the middle, the end of the video. NIST, it's Army Corps of Engineers, and never forget that their fire department has a fire marshal. They could have done this. Also, never forget that this was a criminal crime scene investigation with the homicide division of Miami-Dade there also. Now, they know to go get cameras, data like that. And those cameras, someone asked me, did they work? Yeah, they worked. They worked because they had them repaired just weeks before for like a tune of $20-something thousand. So it's not like they ignored that. And no one's coming forward saying those cameras didn't work. And remember, Shamoka, the security guard, she called 911 twice. One time, it appears like twice we know of. She hung up because she didn't know the fucking address where she worked. And she called back again. She said it's earthquake, or the first time earthquake. But never once did she get on the intercom system that Matt set up that would allow, I think it's 3 times, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, that you could say, hey, get your asses out of the building. Get your asses out of the building. And it would come over 3 times, repeating, ultimately 6 times on that one, right? It would repeat the sentence, get your ass out of the building, get your ass out of the building. Her case, she could have said, it's an earthquake. I just called 911. I think it's an earthquake. I just called 911. I think it's an earthquake. And let that go through multiple times. Sirens in the rooms, lights in the rooms, and a speaker in the room, all at once, siren indicators that would tell them, everybody to get out. Again, with that said, I would have not made it out. I think of, again, Casey Stratton that would have been me. I would have looked out on that balcony and started evaluating what was going on, and maybe even got my camera out. So to the mother, I have total empathy for you, and don't feel like your daughter did anything wrong. I would have been dead as shit too. I'd have still been trying to get data. And for the husband that got the phone call, it might have wished he'd told her to get out. It's hindsight, right? You're still taking on data yourself when the building it's too late. Once the building starts collapsing, there's no way she's going to make it out. Or me. And Casey was built. She was strong. If you were going to do any athletic stuff getting out of there, she would have had a high chance of doing it over anyone else there, especially because her unit was here and the hallway exit is just about here. But to get here to there while the building has got your amygdala has you crunching down, just so you guys know. When you hear a loud bang, what's one of the first things you do? It's a flashbangs. It makes you crouch down. Unless you teach yourself that a loud bang will teach you to go into fight mode. You can do that. You can teach yourself that a loud, any sudden bangs will put you in a physical fight mode. That will take a little bit of training, but you can teach yourself to instantly throw an impact towards the noise. A half back fist, if you will, or something of that nature. Now, few people have made that mistake of coming up on me doing that and gotten slugged. And I'm like, oh man, you should not do that again. So I taught my girl how to do it. I used to scare her for fun, right? I used to, I'm a sick little bastard. So I stood outside the bathroom door and just stood there if she go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. This was many years ago. I learned my lesson quick. So I'd stand there just still, not doing anything. She'd scream. I'm like, what's wrong? I'm just ready to go to the bathroom too. Just being freaky, So then I told her, I said, look, what you have to do is when you're scared is you got to hit toward the object, that you're scared from. Well, the last time I ever did that was many years ago, because it turns out it stuck. She knew how to do that. Wham! I got slugged right in the eye with I don't know, with a bat. What, I don't know what it was. That thing came out of nowhere. And so that was the last of me doing that. She seems like she learned it, although I haven't taught her a lesson lately. She might be due for one of my little freaky things middle of the night. I don't. That's probably her. She might have it programmed. I might want to get my ass slugged again. So that was many years ago. So you have to teach yourself that. A strike towards the incident. So there's no matter. So there, you crouch down is what you probably would have done with a large impact. With the impact. Now, many people probably were getting ready to leave, but with the earthquake, or sinkhole, whatever you want to think of it as at the time, there's the corridor here, lights coming on, etc. But hurry. You don't have an alarm system from the security guard company, which is Matt. Informed me. I think they paid $571,000. I'm shitting you. Millions of dollars. Is that right, Matt? About $571 million. Because they had a duty. Well, not because of that. Also because insurance companies all folded, right? This judge railroaded everybody. I'm telling you, everybody, because he didn't insist. Let's get to the facts. They railroaded it before the people were fully recovered. The bodies weren't even fully out. Then we find out some people were still alive. They died after the fact. Now, I said I would help out a guy, a search and rescue guy, right? I'm talking to you now. Keep you anonymous until you say something. Because he informed me that a lot of engineers watch my channel. They tell their search and rescue guys to watch it. So no offense when I talk bad about fire department with some things, right? I'm just letting chips fall where they fall. I talk bad about police department and engineers too. So, let's let the chips fall where they fall. In this case, those bodies, we would need to know how they were entrapped. And when they did recover those bodies, were they further impacted after fact? Were they, did you have a slab here? That person was alive at one time, but when you went to recover the body, the slab ultimately, let's call it, squished the human body. It was dead at that point. In that case, no, you didn't have a chance to recover the person anyway, because you don't know where they are. All right, even with the dogs there and noise and things like that, you don't know where they are. Of all things, I really think cats have a better nose than dogs. And they can go more places than dogs in these things. You see the big clumsy dogs? No offense to my dog lovers out there. I've had dogs all my life, right? Off and on. Not since I've been running a cat cycle. So, cats can go more places than dogs. Cats can sniff out cancer, so can dogs. Literally sniff cancer. They put them on there. So especially if you use the cat to sniff out your cancer, because then they could charge you for a cat scan. I couldn't help the humor in that, but that is true. They can smell. Lily, my cat there, my feral stray cat, he was free range. Now I'm breaking him like a bronco. He's doing great in here. He's breaking himself. So, Lily, if I break out if I open the refrigerator door and grab some meat or put fresh food out from nuggets, he's way in the other room. Dude's like, I smell it. Because I try to do it quietly to see if it's just odor or not. Oh, yeah. They can smell it. He comes out and goes, yo, dude. He comes within like 10 feet of me. If I take too long cutting up whatever I'm doing, I hand him the nuggets. He'll come within 6 feet and look at me like, hey. He doesn't speak yet up to me, but the others do. The point I'm making here is that can you have saved those people that were down there? I think with a cat and a camera, they need to teach cats to do this move. To do this, they need to stop being so like cats are just stupid. They can do that. Remember, I taught Georgie how to do 3-card Monte. All right, they can do it, especially if you know how they really treat these animals. To treat them, they literally give them treats in a bag to sew on the waist. The actors do. The animal handlers in these movies, those animals get starved. They don't get fed. There's this little pouch that the handler, because I've seen it on movie sets. The handler, I've seen in real life on movie sets, that the handler will have this little bag there, and he'll reach in there, and if the dog and cat performs, they give him one treat. If you remember 1001 Dalmatians, I ran into the handler who did that on a movie set, and he said that, oh my gosh, to make that movie, we had people sending Dalmatians over and over again. It was never the beginning Dalmatian that went through the whole movie. That wasn't possible. Dogs puppies grow too quick. So we go to, so there was no way that you could save these people. Now let's think about Matt here. Matt, he's getting stressed, possibly, more than likely. Yeah, he's getting stressed because they got him hauled into court too. They even got the excavator backhoe guy that loans up, just rented a backhoe there, being thrown under the bus for, hey, we need you. Everybody who seemed to touch the building, we're gonna sue you. Instead of finding out exactly who's responsible here. We know we can go back to the engineer that looked at the planter box and saw that fracture and said, it's just roots. We know that, as I stated in a video that's not coming out just yet, this one's coming out first, an alarm was sounded, I'm using the word quotation, was sounded by the building's maintenance man 2 weeks before, approximately 2 weeks before, when he asked for, maybe 3 weeks before then, or 4, when he asked for the engineer to come out to inspect the crack at the planter box. Let's get you the planter box. I want to see what Matt says. I want you guys to see this first. So Doss says, shouldn't someone be held accountable for destroying the black box evidence? So here's our buddy Matt here. He's very nice to help us out here with, sharing. He's not like everybody else duck and cover. Matt's truly an innocent, victim in this also, but he, forced to pay by the insurance companies. You know the way it works, guys. You can say, I want you to fight. The insurance company says, well, we don't really want to take that battle on. We'd rather pay up and cut our losses. Because remember, the insurance companies, they never lose. Even if they paid all their money out, they're allowed to ask for a certain percentage of money back as income. It's not a business where they break even. No, they're allowed to just recoup it next year. And it's not just next year, it's locked in. It's like forever now. They just don't go the fuck back down, right? All right. The money, the building, the moment Matt states, as you see there, Mullen 3169. And please, ask Matt questions here. And Matt and I, Matt discussed with me saying we can do a live chat with you guys. So if you got more chats you want to do, or this format works, but we can do a live one, and Matt can, tell you exactly why, tell you verbatim, but you're getting it here anyway, but we can do a live chat, and you can fire away with your questions. But until then, fire away with your questions here, and then we get a nice base and feel of where it's going, and be prepared a bit, not like, hey, Matt, what were you doing that day? I'm sure you might know, but what were you doing that day was early in the morning, right? But that's been answered, believe it or not. The moment the building collapsed, I personally spoke to property manager and told him the importance of grabbing that box, right? And what it stores. It stores 3,000 events, 1,000 alarm events, including if any buttons were touched. They purposely kept me out of the building because the security guard did something the security guard did something she shouldn't have done. Not should have done. I can think he means should not have done. She initially thought it was an earthquake. Use your imagination is what it says. So I'm thinking, right. She made those 2 phone calls. We know that. And each one, she never told him that she was the security guard there, because thinking that that if you're the security guard there, 911 operator would say, oh, well, did you press the alarm system to evacuate the building? When we hear her make those phone calls, good news is we can hear the alarm system in the background of each one of those phone calls. You hear the sirens in the background, the clack, do you hear them in the background? You do not. Does NIST talk about that in their data finding that they've published so far? No, they do not. We don't hear it in either phone call in the background. We don't hear it in any of the multiple hang-ups we hear from the people calling that get disconnected. The operators are often saying, hello, 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 and the multiple calls there. We don't hear any alarms. This security guard company and their worker never secured made the alarm go off, set the alarm off, per the audios we hear with the sinkhole. Remember, she called for a sinkhole, not for the building collapse, a sinkhole. I'm sorry, an earthquake, not for the building collapse. So in her phone calls there, we don't hear the alarm system going off. So she did not activate it. But she made herself a victim shortly thereafter, because by that nightfall, she had a walking around with a cane and taking a victory lap, saying she saved the lady that was down in the parking garage. Incidentally, the building didn't collapse, so she was not in imminent death was not for her. All right, she didn't go down. The rest of the building didn't collapse in that area. 30 minutes later, it had to be imploded to bring the rest of the building down. So, no life was saved. Incidentally, you never save a life. You only extend a life when you're doing this stuff, because we all have a death date. We don't know what it is, but it's extension of life. Everything you do. So, the property manager should be liable. I agree. The property manager made money? Those property manager, not that's just person, but they made money. That damn property management company, they were part of the victim. They made themselves a victim, and yet they were negligent, right, with this. And they might not have been fully negligent, as we talk about the planter box. They called in that alarm, as I call it, 2 weeks prior by calling an engineer for that fractured box. And what did they do? They sent out an engineer that said, I'll come out when I check the roof davits up on top there, to secure them right there. I'll check this planter box. Their engineer, I think it was a male. I like to identify male, females, biometrics, right? I like to know which sex is doing what. Anyway, it's part of data. So I believe it's a female, he stated, because I throw a woman on the bus too, so it's equal here. And he stated, I don't believe in this person, because this person. No, I want to know. I want you guys to know it's he or she, and it matters. When age matters, how long have they been an engineer? How often have they done any inspections like this? It all matters. It matters so much so that if you police report, they don't just put down, we arrested a person. No, it's biometrics put down. Male, Hispanic, non-Hispanic, white male, non-Hispanic, black male, things like that. It all matters. So this crack that was identified as, reported to us as just a crack from the planter box from roots. All right, that was the first alarm was by the maintenance person. All right, the maintenance person made that. They got the expert out there, and just the cracks. All right, those cracks. Any engineer should know. So that was the beginning of the failure of the pool deck. The pool deck and the parking garage side, where it shares the same platform, right? The pool deck does. Remember, I do videos showing rectangular array. Here is the one with the fracture bites. I'm going to do that. And I talk about rectangular array. I hope I didn't say triangular array there. This is off by about 8 inches, so that's like that. That's about 8 inches. But the other one is supposed to be here. This is significantly off by feet. 6 feet off. It's so significantly off. You'd have to use huge skewed steel to try to make this work, and frankly, that would be making a beam. It just doesn't work. You just put a damn column here. Why wasn't a column there? Again, parking, that would interfere with parking below, so this was done in this capacity. Remember, this was supposed to have beams, BMAs that would transfer the loads, and this deck initially was the parking garage over here. Let's do car. Was over here, and it was a 1 foot 0-inch step up from the pool deck on this side. This was the BMA here, so this would be BMA, and NIST is calling it Beam A, I believe. That is incorrect, I believe, because NIST has, in 1980s, went over this, that they have something called a BMA. All right, it's not like you can say, well, that's because they also have a beam type A on these plans, but they also have this without the dash on it. They also call it beam type identified, but this one, if you look up BMA, it actually says it's a post tension steel, and not I think it is rodded material. So it's like a bolted connection here and here, and a post tension after fact. Because they have all types of BMCs, BMAs. And I went over a video that you can look for my search in my content, my video, and look up BMA, and you'll find the NIST report. Now, NIST has an expert that's supposed to be good with the history of finding the records of the structure, and also reading the 1972 code book for this. 79 code book for this, 1979 code book. I have the same exact code book, literally the hard copy. I showed it in the video. I've had it for years. They talk about what I show here, rectangular array, that it can't be more than 10% off in the entire area there, the connecting area. If the building was disconnected, here's the building, the fuse. If it was disconnected there, then this area out here, the pool deck and the parking garage, per the extrapolation, would count as one area because the reinforcement rebar all connects one way or another. There is no expansion joint or control joint, no expansion joint, no control joint, no full cut separation from it. So the code 1979 says it'll be counted as one. So everything in here can't be more than, I believe it's 10% off. It is significantly off by 10%. This one alone. And this is our planter box. Significantly off. This is where we get a fracture in the deck here and here, I believe. I'm sorry, sagging in the deck. Vehicle traffic on this side, sagging it down. And this side failing under dead load. And also because of the reinforcement, the way it was. And removing the BMAs. And yet, NIST wants to argue that we're still not sure, even though they just came out with the recent one. Tandemac sent to me, said that I looked at the video, and it says, they're kind of certain that the main building was not the initial cause, but the deck was the initial cause. I'm like, what friggin' idiots. I got a video already posted on this. YouTube is making me reload it multiple times now, my videos. And so maybe they won't make me load this multiple times. But let's look at this. This is the deck. This is the building. Okay? All right, it is your building. And your connections here. Okay, so let's put Casey over here, okay, on a balcony. Casey reports and calls in that to her husband about this, what she sees a sinkhole, observes a sinkhole. The NERS are at the front desk complaining about noise and vibration. She turns and goes to the mama bear, turns and looks out to the, that's complimentary, turns and walks to the end of the lobby, looks out the glass where the lobby is, and observes the cars are down, all right? She didn't say where she was, the building collapsed. We know it did not. And then she goes back to her son's area, where the son and daughter is, and she doesn't say the halls are blocked with debris and she can't walk down the halls and she can feel the building vibrating and cracking. She doesn't report that, right? She just tells them we got to get out. And remember, the daughter stated that when she left the shower, she had white stuff coming in her face. Yeah, apologies. She had white, logically thinking that it's the ceiling materials ejecting off the ceiling area, just like in 7-Eleven, where 7-Eleven you see the materials ejecting off the ceiling, shooting into the nest camera or whatever, ring camera, and the and below 7-Eleven is 6-Eleven. 6-Eleven is the lady that states, "Hey, I see a crack in the. I woke up. I heard her loud. I thought God. Some God. She says God made her wake up after, in hindsight. But she woke up because of the loud noise. She saw it with the ocean, and she's going to close the door. In reality, her amygdala woke her up because of the noise, vibration. It wasn't normal for sleep. The amygdala is capable of doing that, guys. And I love psychology. That's part of your brain that protects you even in your sleep. It had data that said this is a bad noise in the background. It alerted her to wake up. The beautiful thing about the amygdala, even though she was asleep, the amygdala has a way of telling you which direction to look. It stores data. So even though she's asleep, as she stated, in her bed, over here, let's say, it's to say this is her bedroom. Here's the bed, right? Pillows and all this. And she's sleeping here. She wakes up. She says, the first thing came to mind was, oh, maybe the door is open. I left it open, and maybe it's the wind's coming in doing that. Her amygdala told her where that source of sound was, which is probably here. It could be the other side of the door. I'm double dipping on this imagery, incidentally. This is the face of the building. She goes out there to close the door. She realizes she cannot close it. It's jammed, all right? She also notices the crack. I am unsure which side of where she notices the crack. Considering she's facing the building, and I did see her talk to the camera sitting down facing us, she used the right hand to point up to the air and saying, I observed the crack. So considering she's facing the door when she observes this crack and using her right hand, I would give high value that the crack was in this area here. It was on this wall here, which is the brick, the stone, the concrete inlay. Because over here is one column, here's a column, and between here is the party wall that is designed where the glass doors would slide here. Just do that for glass doors. And this would be an infill wall to be able to do your party wall, because you just don't run it up to the glass. So that's the block wall. So this is the block. This is block. Incidentally, the block was to be added after the building was fully completed. It wasn't added floor by floor. And this block does not go down to the basement. So it acts like a internal shear wall. Not that great. They don't really tie it together, but it's got some rigidity to it. But not enough where this building rattled upon breaking, fracturing, the deck failing. It was able to rattle the building, and I believe it rattled it all the way up to the top floor. We know it rattled it past 611 because she woke up at that point. All right, keep in mind the timeline of this video. That when this video shows the collapse, it's after she's already in the hallway. There's no way that this video was showing the collapse. It's 7:11, and at the same time she had noticed the crack in the wall. Because remember, she reports then that she goes back, grabs her keys, pocketbook, changes her clothes, blows out some candles, and she closes, and very importantly, she closed a door that was to her apartment. So this tells you that the fracture, this destruction of the structure, was here at the face where the doors were, but were not back, one column back, about 20 feet back, did not make it into the building to where she couldn't close that door. She didn't say, well, I couldn't open the door and I couldn't close the door. All right, she just said, she left. She never made it that. She also talks about getting in an elevator. That's near going down to she doesn't talk about trying the elevator, which is interesting because I can't imagine this lady first defaulting to the steps. She does leave out that, I waited for the elevator for X amount of time and then I went to the steps. I don't imagine this lady being, I'm taking the stairs for exercise all the time. So I blew off the elevator, went right there. I imagine she went to that elevator, and Matt can tell us the elevator position. Now, this is important because if we can determine, if Matt says, hey, the elevator is going to show red light on the thing, meaning out of function on that floor, once it goes home, once it realizes a structural problem's happening or an alarm system went off, it goes to first floor as Matt instructed me and opens the doors. Okay. So she would have not been able to use the elevator. So we asked Matt, question, the elevators on those floors, would the light have, what would an indicator on the light, if you were to press them, what would it say? Would anything say, like at the top of the bar up top, would it say, you're fucked, take the stairs? Is it just red lights, or does it just look out of order? What does it say, Matt? I mean, how does it indicate? Well, she stated that she went from, I guess, the 6th floor to the 4th floor between those floors when the collapse happened. And coming back to her in the 6th floor, the vibration is here, 6th floor, 611. She's able to do this all this time and do that. At the same time, I think Cassandra Ability Stratton, is on the phone with her husband also, all right, making it. This 611 lady, she goes to make it into the, whatever time it took for the elevator to decide she can't take it. She then goes to the stairwell and makes it down to the 4th when the collapse happened. Between the 6th and 4th reported by her, or did she say 8th or 6th? I'll leave it open that she lives in 811, but someone reminded me here, for clarification, that it's not 811, it's 611. So 611 tells you that when this deck went down and the building rattled, 611 at the brick, let's say at the brick here, was deformed so much so that it deformed the door. But the door for her porch, but not back here. And now, keep in mind, Casey also went out to the porch to talk to her husband, as I understand, out to the deck talking about the sinkhole. So that means Casey's door worked. Remember, she's in a stronger part of the section of the building over here. It's at this is the building that stayed. Casey's right next to it. Balcony's approximately like that. So Casey's able to observe what she states is a sinkhole. And so she was able to open her door unless the door was already open, and she just walked out of there. But that timeline goes by that the lady in 611 makes it to between 4th and 6th floor when it collapsed. That means for timeline, 711, at the time that the powder starts and you hear the popping, it's a break between there, and then a few moments later it finishes, it collapses. So there are multiple stages between 7 and 711. There's two video actions. There's a pause and then a continuation. This time, when this video is there, she's where she's just stated, when she realizes it's collapsing. At this time, when this is taking place, this is when Casey also screams into the phone. You know, terrible to hear that scream. You can never unhear that scream, I guess, from the husband or from the mother to know about that. But the again, I would have been dead also, because my dumb ass would have stayed there. And been evaluating. Casey used her husband to evaluate, and no fault of his own. He didn't, you know, the guy's just a politician, from what I understand, a Democrat politician. So what does he know about structural things and when to take off? I would have stayed there. Someone else, I would have given advice to leave. All right, that's the oddest thing. Everyone else, I would have given advice to leave, but I would have stayed there investigating. Okay, so now Matt states that the second part, the property managers should be liable, and I believe Matt is referring to the management company, not the single guy who talked about this crack here. Now let me give and take. Also, the property manager should make sure that the security guard, if that's his duty, is trained to know what to do in event of an emergency, a fire, for example. What do you do? What do you do? The same thing, default to letting everybody know. The system was in place for that. Matt installed the system in place for that they spent all this shitload of money for, and she doesn't do it. And now we can come back to this property manager that may have been called that out, but did he do the proper training, and did the security guard company do the proper training to say, hey, you know what to do in case of a fire? You know what the case to do in case we got to get out of here, or, you know, even a mass shooting? You know what? You know that they have nowadays. You know what to do. All right, so they're in. So I give and I take. So it could be property management company and maybe property manager. All right, that is yet to be. You know, let's put it this way: the management company, they were a victim here. They made themselves into a victim. They're the ones that didn't maintain and make sure everything was safe, and people were trained properly. And they're the ones that also claimed victim and made millions of dollars themselves. As a corporation, they're allowed to sue. Do you guys know in the United States, corporations are people? Yes, humans. Now, on that side of humans, do you know we are owned by the United States government? Every USA citizen is owned by the USA government. All right. Not just your municipality level, but the government level. That you are nothing but, you know how people say that you sign it, you know, their birth certificate is your contract with the government. You know, those conspiracy nut jobs, right? They're just nut jobs. Well, I'm telling you, 100%, you are owned by the USA government. You are just a piece of corporate paper. And I'm not joking you. I'm not trolling you either. You got to wait for it. You know, I like playing it off a little bit. You're just a piece. You're one of the corporations. You're one of the millions of corporations that the government owns. How can I say that? We're the only country in the entire world that if you leave the United States and go live in wherever you live, Dubai, people say it's tax-free, right? Dubai. Well, the United States doesn't give a shit that Dubai doesn't charge you capital gains. All right? You don't have citizenship there. The United States says you still made the money in the United States because we own you. You're doing this work for us. Wherever you go around the world, we want our cut. Now, you can try to prove you pay taxes in another country and they'll give you credit for it. But if it's not, if you only pay 15% taxes there and the U.S. says you owe 37 here, they can give you 15% credit. They want their other 27%. All right, their money. 15, I messed that up. 15, 37. So they want their other 22%. That they want it. Now, I'll show that to you in a minute. or you can try to debunk me, but you are owned. It's the only country in the world. So everyone that's got USA citizenship, dying to get it, just remember when you get it, or if you have it, everywhere you go in the world, you will, unless you renounce your USA citizenship, you will be, you're just one of the little corporate pieces for them that they think of dollar signs. You don't even live here, but you'll be paying USA taxes. You can leave and go live in a country as long as you want, another country. 10 years, 20 years, till you're dead. They still demand you file taxes in the United States and pay them their cut for letting you live. The property manager should be even the Cayman Islands. I've been looking into it, guys. Cayman Islands will report your income to the USA, IRS, if you're a USA citizen. So even the Cayman Islands will snitch your ass out. Only way it gets not done is you got to renounce USA citizenship. You think that's not worthy? You shouldn't do that. But I'll give you a rough idea. Capital gains, say you're investing and you make $300,000. Well, capital gains can be about 37%. Right there, just federal. Over $100,000. I think it's 114, 112, something like that. That's $112,000. You weren't even in the USA, and the USA will demand $112,000 from you. So now imagine you're away 2-3 years, and you're not planning on coming back. You're traveling the world now. You realize that, hey, that's $100,000 a year just to maintain. They're charging me to be a USA citizen, over $100,000. You're doing all the risk, doing all the work, and they're getting over 1/3. That's not 1/3, guys. That's over 1/3 of your money. And sorry, this is capital gains. This means it does not go to your Social Security. I pay a shitload of capital gains, guys. I got shit get shit back for capital gains. You get nothing back for this. You get you're a good provider. Nope. Nothing goes to your Social Security on capital gains. So, so renouncing the USA citizenship might be soon in my future. Might be very soon in my future. I'm just working on different countries, evaluating them. You can buy citizenships for like $150K. And you're like, we're crazy, but remember what this is. This is 1 year at $300K. All right. So it's a hell of they own you. So let's look at this again. So the property manager should be liable. Informed him immediately. I informed him immediately of the importance of capturing this box. You see what it says there? Matt specifically saying that it's important to the property manager that we get this box. So now this is the liable part that we can go for. I believe it. Remember, it's a question, and then what did the general public think? Yeah. If he was informed that this box was so critical, and he didn't make moves to go get it. He still had access to the building, believe it or not. And I don't know if he relayed the message to the authorities, all right? But it was known. He let the building owner, through the representative, know how important this is. Let me go ahead and see if this works, Matt. Let's see. I don't hope it shows up. It held you back for some reason, Matt. You got your own version of Shadow Man. Let me refresh this one. Oh, it went through this time. Nope, 10 minutes ago, Catwoman. Glad to see they are all done well. Nice towel cabinet. Oh yeah, thank you. Let me go back to this. I might stand corrected on that. It says, in general, yes, Americans pay U.S. taxes on foreign income. The U.S. is one of the only 2 countries in the world where taxes are based on citizenship, not place of residency. If you're considered a U.S. citizen or U.S. permanent resident, you pay taxes regardless of where your income was earned. You see that? They don't give a shit where you are. They own you. You're just a piece of corporate paper. Here's the IRS.gov site if you want to go to it. You're just a individual corporation to them. Going wherever you go, they're going with you, making money off of you. That they own you. So yes, that birth certificate that people talk about is you giving up your right, you're giving up, you're turning yourself into a corporate piece of document for the U.S. government. Yes, you can say that for sure. Look, you can't go anywhere in the world without them following you, saying, you make money, we make money. It's like real. I'm not in the United States. They don't even justify. They just don't give a fuck. They're not doing anything for you if you're in another country. And they're not coming to say, well, I had a pothole today. Can you come fix this pothole? Nope. They don't give two fucks. All they know is that you're just owned. You're their property. So I've been looking hard. Like I said, you guys can play along in the game and try to do it. Look at Barbados. I've looked at all these different countries, and you can buy a citizenship that will allow you to have access to many countries. Then you'd have to renounce USA citizenship, and then you can travel then. And the awesome thing about one of these countries like Barbados is that they're tax. You pay $135,000, I think, altogether, and then you have their citizenship, and now you don't pay, and you're out of the United States. You leave it, so you've already had to tour the United States. Put it off your bucket list, and you'll lose your Social Security if you got Social Security. So if you paid into it, that would be gone. But you do the math, and you might say, "Hey, look, I got plenty of money life in me to make money, so I don't mind losing that Social Security." You'll lose that. But you can also buy cheaper health insurance. Barbados actually has a great medical location if you do choose to stay there. Barbados is the medical schools, how I looked up. I reverse that too. How's the medical schools? Can they actually practice in USA, since they're one of the toughest countries to practice in? So yes, the college is there. You can go to medical school there pretty cheap, and you can practice in the USA with that medical degree. You just got to get you can practice in the USA, showing you that it's really good medical school there. Now, if you got a, chronic condition that's always needing care, maybe that shouldn't even be your thought. A thought for you, you got to pay the premium of living. And if you're not making money, if you're not still making money, it doesn't matter. This shouldn't even be considered for you. But I'm just showing you that a lot of shit is tied into the government, So NIST works for the government. Back to the building. They don't give a shit about the real truth. They just want to protect government interests, all right? And that is to make sure that they don't have to say that they dropped the ball with their original design, which rectangular array. They're making a big deal about not getting into rectangular array. They're making a big deal talking about it could be the building first, or it could be that. This is as simple as what it is. You see the crack planter box. You've got a problem with the construction of the planter box, but they're using these kids that are 30-something years old engineers that don't understand the significance of it. But NIST hired them. Remember, NIST just hired that guy that you see in the video there. It's the black guy to the right that's in the video a lot. NIST. NTSB, rather. This guy was a mayor. His qualifications are he was a mayor. And remember, the lady head at NTSB, she's a clown too. She was part of a civic association before she got this job, and now they gave her a few classes, and now you should look at her great her resume looks that NIST published for her on the website. Now, Baldy is out, whatever his name is, the one before her, he's out. So then, now they have another nepotism type thing going on, where this black guy steps forward. You go, oh, he's got to have great credentials, right? No, he's a diversity hire, because here it is, he's going to be investigating accidents around the United States and the world, because NTSB goes around the world even. So, when it's related to the U.S. connections. So, this guy was a damn mayor in Florida, and he lost his second term to a Republican. Then he tried to getting a job in the federal government under HUD. So, that's got nothing to do with NTSB. And now they kick him over to NTSB, and then he was like, oh, we'll give you something in NTSB. Now he's going to be part of NTSB. You see, they're not even hiring engineers. They're hiring nepotism, just junk, right? He has no interest. You don't find any of his publications where he said, oh my gosh, I've been following NTSB for years, just like so much, so great for me. No, he went from politician to try to become in HUD. HUD rejected him, said, nah, this isn't earmarked for you. And then Biden said, you know what, you can have this job. We need a DEI. We like that black face up there. He was hired for his black face. He was not hired for his education. And this is the problem here. She was hired for being a female. Yes, I said it. I say shit that other people won't say. She was hired for having a female gender, which is wrong because, there's no gender. And so she was hired for that. Baldy's out. He sucked anyway. She sucks. The new guy sucks. But if you look at them, they always got somebody who's kind of good. Well, the guy that's to the left, the other white guy to the left, he did a lot of ship rescues and stuff like that. He's got nothing to do with structural evaluation and all that. If you look at his history, He's got, yeah, he can work for the Coast Guard, but nothing like ship rescues or engineering evaluations of equipment, of engines and things like that. Who would you hire? A fucking mechanic is who you would hire for this. You'd hire multiple people up there. A mechanic, multiple ship captains to fight with each other to figure out what's going on. Multiple pilots to fight with each other what's going on. You want somebody that's versed in that harbor rules and Merlin rules. You want somebody versed in the international law rules. You wanted to drug test everybody at the time when they just found out about it, but they didn't even go aboard. Everybody should have been drug tested. Now it's a fucking waste of drug tests. They should have grabbed that, quote, black box instantly. That was it. Quarantine all the witnesses separately. Separate them, just like a police investigation. Quarantine them separately, and then find the story from each of them. Instead, they gave them 2 fucking days to get their stories together, mixed up, not fresh and everything else. It's just a shit show. When you see NIST or you see NTSB, step into it. All right, it's just a shit show. Now OSHA will get enough to get the fines going, and then they walk away. They don't, that's it. OSHA is, I know a few OSHA people, and I appreciate you putting me in your reports, but they're taking the money and they're rolling out. All right, so let's go with the. You think OSHA would have been part of this investigation too, right? The people did die in an accident, so you'd want to know, hey, they should be there somehow saying, yeah, we don't find they were at fault at all. The ship hit, or they could say, well, let's just, at least let's look at it. OSHA should just at least look at it to see if they, whether workers. They're working at any point where the workers doing something, we're doing pothole repairs, I don't know. They should at least take a bite at the apple, but OSHA didn't even want to nibble on it. So there you go. They own us, period. So if you look up, you got to find me here on the Champlain Towers and Rectangular Array, 2022, 2018, I talk about that box. Here's the different videos. You can look that up. Rectangular array again. This is so critical because of the location. Okay, now they lost it. I should have a thumbnail that shows that. So in this video, this one's called ACI is wrong. Plate slab should be evaluated as one panel because of the reinforcement. There's no control joints, expansion joints. So I did this over a year ago. Free rebar and concrete deflection grip force. All right, 192 views. It's just shadow band. I'm putting in a trash can. So in this video, this is another one of my rectangular array creates a sagging deck. This is that. Let me just do a drawing here outside here, so you can see the exaggeration of it. All right, that's it. Now that's here. That's here. That's a 6 foot offset. It looks close because it's just a small drawing, but it's 6 foot away from being where it should be. It should be over here, and yet it's over here. The column is that one there. That's the one with the planter box fracture. Did I get that right? Nope, got it wrong. Wrong. I did this before too. It's this one. That's the 6 foot one here. It says 6 foot there. So there, let me draw it. Let me draw it now. And like that. Let's clear that up. Okay. So here, 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 and the other one is here. So you can see how far these shape when you draw them together, that they are pretty far off like that. And then look at this section here. This is pretty boxed in. So look, box this. If I hit these, they're pretty close. This is another one that's far off. They're off by 9 feet. Look at it. If you look at it, let me see if I can zoom in on that. I can. So you can see here that this is off by. This is where it should be. That's the mark they literally put in the drawings, and it's off by 6 feet up, so 6 feet up to this direction, and then it's off by 3'6" over, And when you do that, it came out to multiple angles. You can try to figure this out. But I came up with 10 degrees to 50 degrees off. It's way out of square. See it? So this is going to behave differently. Remember, the steel runs this way, right? It runs parallel and perpendicular, but nothing on a skew like that might help. Except for they were going to put beams in here, and they changed everything. They changed the elevation of the decks and all. These are mirroring the cracks that I've found in the looking at the underside, mapping them. I said location indicates...
That's K, so it's one back.
Location indicates planter box K. Okay. So let me go forward in this video real quick, scrubbing. Oh shit, this is perfect. Well, that's the drawing I wanted to show you. So this is what I showed in this video. And I'll screenshot it real quick. So it's off. And this is where the planter box failure happened. This is where the engineer looked at the fractures and said, it's roots. In reality, the deck is rotating over. Now NIST is on board with that now, but they're not on board whether this happened first or the building happened first. And I believe they're going to try to be partial to over here as their initiating point, not up here. I believe this is where they're going to try to say, oh, this is where it started failing. I call bullshit on that because this is already indicating of a sagging deck, all right? Indicating multiple directions. Plus, I found a fracture over here. Maybe they're going to use that as part of my, because I just closed that fracture. It was over here, pre-collapse, and many weeks before. And so this is where NIST, because after I did that video, NIST then published, like days after. So they're watching me. Even though I'm beating them the hell up, they still watch. So NIST is now saying, oh, they put a video up and a publication saying, please, if you have any photographs, send in. You don't know what you might have in the background. Because I played caddy on, I played cagey. I'm like, look, what is this? And I'll show, oh, I see, it's a fracture. It's a fracture of the deck, which would indicate that this is failing over here also. But if we extend that fracture here, it would just be this fracture here, either isolated or not, but there's a planter box here. We can't see through the planter box. So if I could only see there, I would probably do something like this. So as part of the failure zones, I'd probably say tying this in, I would map that this part is a sagging section. And this is secondary sagging. So I would call this primary sagging, right, first, with the vehicle loading. This is secondary, so this sags down. It pulls this down over here on this side of the planter, on this side. I'm sorry, between the planter boxes, the butterfly. What I call a butterfly. So between here. And then when this finally collapses, I think we're getting this. All right, let's clean this up. I think we're getting, so I'll give you back the fractures as I see it. So there's a fracture here, all right? There is the fracture, sagging here. We have load, vehicle loading, okay? Load. And so I would call this right here. I should have used different color because I got blue in the background. I would call this first. All right, it's the first more stressed area. We have no indicators at this block we have no indicators of current that this was an issue down this area. Why do I say that? Because at one time I had someone write me that welded the gates. They were here. He had to re-weld the gates so they would close properly. So that's telling you what. And NIST needs to look into that. That welder did get paid. He was there. They paid a welder. And if you're still around, please comment. Or you can, NIST, if you really want, you can go hunting back in my videos. Or don't be a pussy and contact me, and I'll see if I should be able to find it. If it's in a private video now, I'll find it and share it with you, okay? You can then see if you can, well, hold on. I got to first track down the person. I have to comment to him and say that, can I turn over your information to NIST? All right? So I'd want his permission first. Or you can find it triangulated another way. That welding took place. He said those gates were stuck. And he had to go out there and weld them, re-weld them in different position configurations so they would close. This was years before, not current. This was years before. So there was some sagging going on here that the welding took place. But I don't know when this appeared. They can go back in time and find different photographs. If you did get them, this asked for photographs. But they ask softly. They don't crowdsource properly. Who the fuck's going to look for NIST under Vimo, Venmo, whatever they're using now? They're using a platform that most people don't use. All right, they're not really using YouTube fully, so they got to disclose. And now they've taken to disclosing on a platform that their videos that no one's using. And so it's sneaky government stuff. So stop being a little snake in the grass with your damn, you head of NIST. Head of the NTSB, that one lady, NIST, stop being a snake in the grass. So I'm getting my two things mixed up. Let's stay with NIST. So stop being a snake in the grass, publishing the way you are, publish normal, and get it out there normal. Get hold of the news. Tell the news we'd like you to send photographs. Stop doing what you're doing there with this secret, we're going to try to pretend like we're going to take the victory lap. Everybody knows you're looking at different people's content and crowdsourcing yourself out of here. You saw mine. I can 100% prove that you saw that you asked for data after are already published, like the next day. So you didn't just come up with that out of nowhere. You saw my fracture here. You shadow banned me because I talked bad about NIST destroying evidence. Talk about that in your report about, explain why you destroyed that evidence, threw it out, and now you got it in an evidence lab over there and calling it evidence. It's no longer evidence. You destroyed it. You took away materials from it and everything else. It's not evidence anymore. So, say it's corrupted evidence. Fruits of the poisonous tree. It's shit now. All right, then get somebody who's a real person, a real engineer out there that can extrapolate that this should all be considered one panel when evaluating the rectangular array formula about 10% rule. That two-way slab direction and design greater than 10% and not more than 10%, 20. So two-way, not more than greater, and not 20% on a total combined rectangular array. I think this is all a rectangular array. Everything we see here is all connected. So I think this is all additive. And then it collapses. So it kind of proves it's additive, that it's a one system. That it's a one system that's all tied in. Up to the point of the control joint that I said doesn't exist. It does exist. Right the fuck over here. One damn joint. That's how far it went over. Right by the pool deck. Or maybe it's out here. Yeah, maybe it's out here a little bit. There's a control joint right there that they did, but they put steel in the control joint to lock it in, etc. But it's sheared off right there is where we can see a clean line. So there's one there. Way over here. There's none at the building. All right, per the design, it was none in the building. It was integral. The design ties it literally to the structure. So there is none. There is none at the building. All right, there's no breaks at the building. As the one engineer that follows me said, that he thinks there should be a fuse, and then somebody cut him off just when he was saying it about the fuse thing. Now that engineer, mind you, was part of the lawsuit. He was part of the lawsuit, and he's using my information to talk about it, which I can't stop him. But I wish he'd be more specific and give me my pat on the back and not just, state that that's, the information. Now, with that said, I challenge any engineer, NIST included, any engineer to come onto a live video and we talk about this structure. And that includes the lawsuit guy, right? You included. And here's the kicker. I'm willing to pay, if you're willing to come here, I'm willing to pay you $1,000. All right, my own money, $1,000. All right, if you think you're worth more, let me know. All right, but you did a video, that one engineer from that one company, you did a video, $1,000 out of my pocket, and all I want, we get to ask questions back and forth about the structure, and we also reveal our source. So if I'm the source, you got to say I'm the source. All right. You also have to reveal what went on when in court. Also, what your positions were there versus what you published on YouTube. With that said, if you think it's worth $3,000, I'll pay the $3,000 to you. All right. So anybody else you want to banter with me? Not Tool Time. He's not an engineer. He's a cell phone guy, right? But any other engineers or any other forums, if you want to come here, talk about this structure, well, I won't pay you, but we can go at it. We can go at this structure, and it's any engineer and multiple engineers. You know, you can gang up. You can gang up and attack me. I'll be just on the other side. I won't ask for any help on my side with this. All right, just me. Just gang up on me. So there's a $1,000 to $3,000 offer to the one engineer that was part of the lawsuit that used data from YouTube, my content included. I'd like to, banter with him here on this structure. And remember, they got over $100 million between all of those people. They got paid. All right. So there we go. Oh, and any engineer that might have been there at the location at the time, if you want to come here and banter, let's go at it. Let's go at the literal structure. And I'll tell you what you need. My number one debate is this. Now, you can fight me with BMA if you want, whether it's called Beam Type A or BMA. But I would argue that that per NIST, now I know I said NTSB earlier, now I'm back to NIST. NIST has identified, and I did a video on it, has identified what a BMA is. It's something called a BMC. I'm the only one speaking of that. I keep insisting that it's critical to the failure of the structure because this had designs in it that had beams that would have taken the load. It was a 1 foot step up. 1 foot. But they made this from 12 foot 10 to 11 foot 10 all the way across. They made this 11 foot 10 inches. They saved 1 foot, as I call it, Cadillac money back then. They bought a brand new Cadillac. And over the structure, it also went from a 2 foot 10, that drop detail, 2 foot 10, to 1 foot 10 inches. It also changes it here. Also changes it at the weakest part. Makes it the weakest part of the building there where you come down the driveway. Ending the video. Love you guys. I know it's a long video. Hope you enjoy it. And again, Matt, thanks, buddy. Man, you are the man. You are speaking up. You know how many pussy-ass people don't speak up? Let's look at the collapsing and all these brick collapses which has happened in New York. You see them speaking up? No. They're scared as shit because they know they were negligent. You're the only one that knows you should know that you're not negligent. You were not negligent. Your system worked. The alarm company was notified. The company you used, your third party you used, they notified instantly the fire board through the police department, it sounds like initially. And the police department just dragged their feet until they didn't. Until everything progressed. And the 911 calls. Anyway, it's only one person that could have expedited the most safe recovery of people. And that would have been the security guard pressing the alarm system, pulling the alarm system, screaming for help in the microphone. But instead, she exited through the window because the doors are not working electronically. Interesting. You normally can push those doors open, but I guess she didn't know that. And then she went through the window and back through the window, stated in one of the videos, right? And then back into the building. But she's not going around and rescuing people. She's not acting like firemen. She's outside with a camera, her cell phone on, as you saw with the light, indicating that she's out there filming or whatever the hell she's doing, photographing herself. And then she ducked out on the court hearing, on the depositions. End of my story to you. And again, give Matt a shout out for me, guys. Here, Matt's coming here forward. If you got questions, ask Matt. Ask Matt. It's like a forum, right? Ask Matt. Matt is not negligent here, and yet he was forced. His insurance company, extorted him basically to throw in the towel. If you fight, they scare the shit out of you, right? We got you covered though. We're gonna handle this. We're gonna just go along with the flow, and that's it. You'll be done with it. And that shit took them a year and some change, right? You get scared. You got all these people dead. You can get scared dead there. You get scared by this fucking whole challenge, right? What are you gonna do? What would you do? I'm afraid I'd do what Matt would do also. I wouldn't, yeah, you're right to fight, but what if they decide to make it a damn martyr out of you? Not a martyr, a lesson, a lesson. You fight us, we're going to somehow find a way to pin you anyway. You got to be shitting me. You couldn't find fault any other way besides quickly giving everybody, 600, 800, $1 billion, and then taking a victory lap. And yet, the cause, determination of this collapse has not been determined yet. And yet, they've already made all the insurance companies paid off, cut their losses, under the guise that, hey, if we fight this, if we lose, the jury there might say reward them $40 billion, and not $1 billion. And so they all got together and said, yeah, this is in our best interest. Besides that, after we do this, we'll drop everybody's policy and we'll make everybody across Florida pay up as far as that goes. Somebody, and that's what they did. I did a video on that about insurance policies will go up, and that's what they did. So if you want to find this video, it's posted over a year ago. I got a solid 927 views. I'm joking. That's terrible, but YouTube is treat me that way. So I'm way ahead of NIST on that. I mean, NIST.